Brett and Mark came into the bedroom and locked the door behind them. There was music playing in the bedroom. It was turned up louder by either Brett or Mark once we were in the room. I was pushed onto the bed, and Brett got on top of me. He began running his hands over my body and grinding into me.
I would hope that all the members of the committee would join me in saying we're going to abide by your wishes and we will have that investigation.
I welcome whatever the committee wants to do because I'm telling the truth.
I want to know what you want to do.
I'm telling the truth.
I want to know what you want to do, Judge.
I'm innocent. I'm innocent of this charge.
Then you're prepared for an FBI investigation?
They don't reach conclusions. You reach the conclusions,
No,
Senator.
but they do investigate questions.
I'm innocent.
And you can't have it both ways, Judge.
According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 1 in 5 women and 1 in 71 men in the United States will be raped at some point in their lives. On college campuses, 25% of women and 15% of men are victims of forced sex. In addition, almost 2/3 of college students will experience some form of sexual harassment during their time at school. We wanted to find out what services and resources that the campus administration at SUNY New Paltz offer to students in regards to sexual assault. In order to do this, we first visited New Paltz's University Police Department, located in a large brick service building on the outskirts of the campus. Once there, we were able to speak with the interim police chief, Mary Ridiak, about sexual assault on SUNY New Paltz's campus and the police's role in providing services to victims.
Okay, so our annual security report, which I have up, so in 2017, for rape, we had 5 total for 2017, and then for 2016, we had 11, and 2015, we had 6. And that's rape, which it's defined as penetration. And then we also have under that umbrella, you have fondling, which people will report to us as sexual assault where their intimate parts were touched without their consent. I was an officer, then I was an investigator, deputy chief. So as an investigator, and even as an officer, I handled one-on-one sexual assault investigations. So I have that experience. So I lend a hand when those things come up, when they're reported to us. I also am part of that process of either assisting our current investigator with, things we need to get done, or letting them know, or an officer know, we need to treat the victim, we need to get this evidence to the lab. So I'm still involved in that sense. And then also as a supervisor role, I want to also encourage our training and our educational programs about sexual assault. We have the RAD program, which is a rape aggression defense program, a self-defense for women, but there's other departments on campus that also bring in ideas, and especially Title IX. Title IX is really big in that area too, with the education, bystander education, what's consent, so they do a lot of that too.
Title IX is a federal law included in the Education Amendments Act of 1972. The law states that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. We made our way over to the 6th floor of the Haggerty Administration Building, where we spoke to Emma Morcone, New Paltz's Deputy Title IX Coordinator, to learn more about Title IX and sexual assault prevention on campus.
So when we bring students in, we try to do a lot of sexual assault prevention training right then and there early. And we do a lot of programming, especially with our freshman students. We make sure that we train all of our student leaders annually, so that includes people like RAs, OLs, all members of Greek life, as well as all athletes. We also hold various prevention type workshops, so things like bystander intervention training. We'll bring in guest speakers. There are a lot of resources for students who wish to come forward to report a Title IX concern. So whether they want to go forward to the police or they want to pursue our judicial process. We have a crime victim advocate as well, and that's a free resource to students. She can do emergency counseling. She can escort students and provide free transportation if students need to go to the hospital to get a rape kit as well.
After discovering what resources the school had to offer, we decided to get the perspective of SUNY New Paltz students on campus sexual assault. We stopped by the crowded Student Union building to talk to Dariana, a resident assistant and a former participant of the Rape Aggression Defense System class offered by the University Police each semester.
I participated in the RAD program the fall semester of my freshman year here, so that was 2016. I didn't get to continue with the RAD program all the way through. I think I attended 2 sessions before I was unable to continue, not due to the nature of the program, but just because I had other things going on. But I do remember it was a lot of just self-defense mechanisms that you could use physically more than mentally. So talking about, what kind of maneuvers you could use against an attacker in instances where you felt unsafe or you were physically being attacked by somebody. I did find it somewhat useful. It's also, I feel like, stuff that I'd heard in other places, and it was just kind of more thoroughly explained in this instance. So I don't think it was content or material that I guess we as women have never really come in contact with before, but it was definitely a little more of a thorough kind of experience with how to use that. I think one of the biggest things that our university can do in general when it comes to handling instances like this is beefing up the staff and the quality of the help that you can get at the Psychological Counseling Center. I have personally had not great kind of interactions with the counseling center, and I think aside from the fact that it's already so difficult to come out and speak about instances like this, I think having a better toolkit for the counseling center would be extremely helpful, not only for victims and survivors of sexual assault, but also for people going through mental health struggles. So I think that's absolutely something that we can do a million times better on.
But is it getting any easier for people to speak out about sexual assault? Victims who come forward with sexual assault allegations must put their reputations on the line and don't always get to see justice served.
I think, and I don't have any numbers to confirm it, but with, I think, the Harvey Weinstein movement, I think people were talking about it more, and you saw it in the press. You saw more people coming forward, like, oh, well, that is sexual assault. That happened to me, So I think it is encouraging the dialogue of reflecting back to something that occurred to you, and you're like, you know what, that is what it was.
I don't agree with the Supreme Court decision, and I also think it's very difficult to see our country kind of turn a blind eye to something that affects so many people every day. So it's definitely, I wouldn't say a personal attack, but what could feel like a personal attack to women everywhere to not see yourself represented in the people who promise to represent us.
I do think in many cases that it empowers people to share their experiences, especially with the #MeToo movement, right? People were becoming much more vocal about what happened to them, and others were encouraging them to know that this is a safe or a brave space that we can discuss and share those things. So I think these conversations are happening. Even if more people aren't necessarily reporting, more people, I think, are talking about sexual assault and hopefully coming to the realization that it's a very real and legitimate issue, not just here with our students, but systemically across the country, or across the world.
If you or someone you know has been a victim of sexual violence or harassment, consider contacting one of these resources. Title IX Coordinator, 845-257-3675. University Police Department, 845-257-2222.